My printer just turned on by itself. That was kind of creepy. Okay. Hi friends. Over the last 33 years, I've lived in 4 countries. In this video, I wanted to highlight the top 10 benefits of living an international life. This is a topic that is near to my heart because I've lived a multicultural life since I was a young child, and I've chosen to continue to live that lifestyle as an adult. I've lived in the US, Korea, Malaysia, and Hong Kong, and I'm actually planning to move to Australia in the upcoming year. I know that there are others like me or others who are curious about living an international lifestyle, and so I wanted to share some of my thoughts. So starting from number 1, you gain friends all over the world. Especially if you have friends that continue to move to different countries, it gives you a sweet excuse to travel to different places. In fact, I have a high school friend from Malaysia who moved to Japan. I visited her in April, and she was an amazing tour guide. It felt like we had only left each other a couple of months ago, even though it had been years since I saw her. And I would honestly not have had the experiences I had in Tokyo without her. She literally filmed directions from my hotel to different spots around Shinjuku. It made it so easy for me to travel as a foreigner, especially considering that I don't speak any Japanese. Number 2 is you get to live like a local. There are a lot of experiences that I would have never planned for, never thought to plan for, that are actually one of the most eventful memories I hold on to this day. For instance, I remember waking up in the mornings to the prayers coming from the Muslim mosques. And while I couldn't understand what the chants were, they had such a soothing impact on me, and it actually became a part of my daily ritual. In Hong Kong, I would walk around from place to place, and I would randomly get a whiff of burning incense from the Buddhist temples. And it is amazing how powerful the sense of smell can be. Number 3 is you get the opportunity to pick up on different languages. And so there's the emphasis on opportunity, because I unfortunately did not really take learning languages to my advantage. I was struggling enough to hold on to my 2 languages, English and Korean, to consider taking on a third. But in retrospect, I do wish I at least learned the foundations of Mandarin and Malay. There's nothing like being forced into the depths of a different culture to force you to learn a new language. Reading and watching TV, it's not as immersive, and it just doesn't serve as like the same forcing function. Number 4 is food. I can honestly leave it at that one word. The ability to randomly go to an alley and step into a restaurant you've never been to and try flavors that are foreign to you and yet are addictive, and you're paying local prices, that's kind of unbeatable. If you're a foodie, I'm sure you can relate. Number 5 is local holidays. They serve as opportunities to deep dive into what it means to be in a new culture. In Hong Kong, the Lunar Festival is a multi-day event. And the last day of the Chinese New Year, they have something called Lantern Festival, where they will light up the streets with these amazing, colorful paper lanterns. I still remember being maybe 7 or 8 years old and just standing there on the streets and being astonished at the beauty around me. And now I live just outside of Denver. We do have a small Chinese community and sort of an unofficial Chinatown, but they don't celebrate Chinese New Year the way they do in China, of course. With number 6 and onwards, I'm actually going to shift towards more of the characteristics and personality traits you can pick up if you continue to kind of live that international life. So number 6 is you become a much more inclusive person. Assuming that you are a decent human being who generally wants to build their positive traits, as someone who has experienced what it feels like to be a foreigner, because let's face it, living in a different country isn't always roses and butterflies. There are times where you feel lonely. It helps you become more attuned and sensitive to how your actions and the actions of your community can impact other people. And so I've noticed that I've become very aware and intentional about ensuring that other people feel included. Number 7 is you naturally become much more independent. Oftentimes you're moving without the support of your family, without your friends. You're starting from zero. You don't know anyone. And therefore, you have to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. You have to learn how to practically make money, learn transportation, navigate your way in countries that may not speak English, where it may not be the primary language, and so much more. So it teaches you to be self-sufficient. Number 8, because you have to integrate yourself into something completely new, you are forced to zip your mouth and listen. You become much more observant of your environment, of how other people behave, so that you can then learn how to integrate yourself. And I think that's a really helpful trait that you could apply, obviously, towards different areas of your life. Number 9 is closely related, but a little bit different. It's becoming much more adaptive to change. Change, no matter how many times you go through change, it doesn't become, I wouldn't say it ever becomes easy, but it does become easier. You learn to roll with the punches. You learn to become more flexible, and even if you may not be thriving necessarily with the changes you're experiencing in your life, you at least learn to make the best of it. And then last but not least, having lived in many countries has made me a very open-minded person. And this could be a blessing and a curse, because sometimes it makes it difficult for you to connect with people who have not necessarily lived an international life, who may have a very particular and distinct way of thinking about things. And I'll actually make a separate video talking about the 10 cons of living a multicultural life, but the positive edge to it is that you learn to pick and choose the best of each culture, almost like a buffet. And therefore, my political leanings, my values, my hobbies are quite various. And when I encounter other people who have a certain belief system, I learn to respect them, whether or not it aligns with my own belief system. So that's all I have for you today. I'm new to making YouTube videos, so a lot of this has felt different and awkward, but I hope you enjoyed what I shared, and yeah, I'll come back with another video.